Welcome to SunnyBrook Smart Learning. Be smart, be fun. Learning is smart. Learning is fun. For our topic today, math difficulties, how to help, my guests are Angela, Jap, and Karen. Yeah. By the way, did you experience math difficulties throughout your school life, Jap?
Me po, in the elementary level, I'm very good in math. Like, I compete for the school. But when I was in high school na po, everything is opposite. Like, when there's letters already in the equation, ako po, like,
Algebra?
nosebleed talaga. That's the best term to describe my experience.
Why is that?
Maybe because I don't see the value na po of what I'm learning in high school, like the polynomials. I don't know where can I apply that. Unlike in elementary, in decimal, arithmetic, that's very applicable in life, especially in my time before. We have sari-sari store po kasi before. So I really can apply all the things that I've learned in school. But in high school na po, I cannot apply the a squared minus b squared, something like that in my daily life. So in high school po, I was struggling po
So
in
when you were
mathematics.
taking care of the sari-sari store, you were the one who was collecting
Yes
the
po.
payment?
Yes,
Are you
ma'am.
sure you...
So akin nagsusukli, isang ganyan po. So, that's why po I was very good in arithmetic when I was still in elementary days. But in high school na po, I don't want to talk about math already.
Actually, math is difficult because math is not just counting.
Yes.
It involves many things. No? Like, for example, math needs these 6 basic skills. Math facts. You need facts then. And then the procedural knowledge, conceptual knowledge, estimation skills, identifying the patterns, and problem solving. Yeah? Which of those was difficult for you, or you have never experienced difficulty naman, Angela?
No, ma'am. Actually, I had the opposite experience from Jap. I was poor at math when I was really young. I think conceptual knowledge was the most problematic part for me because it doesn't make sense. For me, yung fractions. Well, the only thing that I could see was how they are equivalent to one another. But then apart from that, it doesn't make sense anymore.
So when you were in high school, it was easier for you?
I had a good teacher in math
Okay.
who
Teacher
gave us a
factor.
lot of insight on how this could look like in real life. Even though yung mga those letters, equations, she could tell us na, well, you can see this line when you visualize this one. So that was really parang mind-blowing for us.
So a good teacher makes a difference, no?
Correct.
Yeah. How about you, Karen?
My experience is more similar with Ange. Because when I was in grade school, I think it was a very important experience because I was absent during subtraction. And then ever since, after that, until now, I feel parang kind of flustered when I have to subtract. Especially, for example, 1,000 minus 98. Parang daming zero for me. So, I think that one, because what the teacher did, I was in grade 1 ata or in preschool. Basta parang we had to discuss that. And then the teacher assigned a peer teacher. And my peer teacher, also a classmate, wasn't that good. So parang kami, oh no. But I had a better experience when I was in high school, just
So
like
you had the
Angela.
problem of borrowing.
Yes. Parang how it was explained to me was the process already, but not the concept of it. Because I think when it was taught to them, parang it was
Correct.
explained, it was part of a whole, and then you remove
Correct,
something. For me, it was the process lang of the zeros.
numbers.
So
Yeah.
until now, I have that. Okay, ang dami.
Calculator.
It's in tens, di ba?
Yes.
Or, yeah. And a lot of teachers thought that if they know arithmetic, they can teach arithmetic. Now, which is not true because
Yeah.
if they are not good with conceptual knowledge, what
Yes.
makes addition, subtraction, and because multiplication can be done also by addition.
Yes.
Diba? And so on. So usually math teachers should be very good with all of this, no? Was problem solving something difficult for you? Would you rather have tests that are asking for you to compute lang or problem solving?
Yeah, I think I would be better when it's just the equation, the numbers.
Uh-uh.
So with problem solving, I think I figured later na in life that yung word problems in math actually has a different context, a different pattern than the usual sentences you read in books. So sometimes, because the teachers actually put patterns in how you should read them and how you take out the numbers and how you place them in equations, it became more difficult for me because it looks drill type.
Drill.
Yeah.
Yes. So it limits your understanding to just one way of looking at these sentences.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, when you're young, you're trained to be imaginative.
So were you all bored during math classes or anxious, afraid?
I think my feeling was more lost. Confused.
Nag-zoom out ka
You
na.
really wanted to listen.
Oh, you
and
cannot
there
be
were a lot
bored.
of activities.
Yeah.
But it just, when the discussion would start, the formal discussion would start, you feel like there's a line drawn between you and the rest of the class.
I'm glad that at least you are not just I don't care na, the board type, di ba? I don't listen na. You still strove
You try,
to understand,
Yes.
yeah? Because usually, normally and generally, Filipinos don't like math.
Yeah, that's true.
And why is that? Because math is very exact.
Yeah.
Correct.
And our culture is asking for medyo, pwede na, and so on. So it's not exact.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are many people suffering from arithmetic disorder. Dyscalculia naman this time. Dyslexia was the reading disorder. And arithmetic disorder, if we classify them, is an impairment in 4 different kinds of skills. No? Linguistic skills, meaning some children know how to do computation, but when it comes to problem solving, they would have a problem because they don't understand the problem. Di ba? Problem solving
Yes.
involves words. So you see, even words are important in math.
Yes.
So we cannot say I'm good with numbers but not with words. Yeah, because linguistic skills are needed in understanding terms and concepts and so on, right? And secondly, perceptual skills. That means recognizing symbols, clustering, borrowing. They all need the perceptual skills. Just alignment is very important. The wrong alignment means you'll have different answers na, di ba? The third is, again, cognitive demand of attention and memory. So you cannot get out of attention and memory in learning different subjects.
Yes.
If you have poor attention, poor memory, it will affect all your subjects na. And then lastly, the mathematical skills like following instruction, following sequences, steps, and so on. So teaching steps, of course, is important, but you should allow for other view or model of solving a problem as well. But there should be steps because it is very linear.
Yeah.
Mathematics learning is very linear. You cannot just go from one place to another, which is a very left brain dominated hemisphere in learning. Linear, logic, and so on. So with people using now, because of creativity, images, and so on, arts and so on, that uses lots of the right brain hemisphere, the linear, logical left brain hemisphere is less used na. And it becomes difficult because linear understanding one thing at a time is difficult for some children. They want to see the big one, the big picture, and so on. So in your teaching, for example, did you see your students having problems in arithmetic disorders? Any of you? Yeah.
I think this will be true for most students with mild or moderate Asperger's. Kasi diba they have parang difficulty. One of my students would have very difficult time with words. For example, a while ago, last episode, we talked about the words. So this student of mine would use happy, sad to describe all the feelings involved. So now that he's in high school, the more it's more difficult for him to answer math problems. The concepts, the terms, because it says here linguistic skills. So I think for my student with those kinds of difficulties, parang nahihirapan sila, especially with problem solving talaga.
For example, if you see, 5 is subtracted from
Yeah.
95.
That's already hard.
Di ba?
Yes.
Yung ganyan. So, which is first, di ba?
Yes.
Or you can say, let's subtract this number from this number.
Yes.
Or just the preposition would
Yes.
be different. Yeah.
Yes.
Of, from, to, and
Yes.
so on.
Yes.
Would make a difference.
So we have to go back and study talaga English and reading
May
more
keywords.
before we go to math actually. Parang yun.
Yeah,
That's
I actually remember having separate lessons just for parang interpreting word
Vocabulary,
problems
yeah.
like that to mathematical equations. So I have an insight that if you have difficulty learning complex grammar
Yeah.
from
That's true.
sentences, it will be also difficult for you
For
to
math.
construct
Your
mathematical
math, yes.
equations. Because somehow the numbers also have roles in the
Correct.
equation, something
Yes.
like that, and the operations also
Yes,
mean
correct.
action. So if in grammar you have difficulty understanding how words are related to one another,
Correct.
math will be difficult.
For example, active tense and then passive tense
Yeah.
would make a great difference.
Yeah.
So sometimes it is good that teachers teach math in Filipino in their own dialect, so
Yeah.
they understood the problem. Because if they are poor in English already, then they would not understand the problem. Yeah. So how did you overcome your math difficulties? Did you have a math anxiety?
Maybe in high school, maybe in master's level. In statistics.
maybe at
Yeah, I was
present.
very, very anxious po. Parang,
Stat.
parang all the numbers po are just flying.
Swimming
Parang
ganyan, yeah.
Opo, so parang sabi ko, parang everyone in the class are nodding. And I was like, why are you all nodding? So parang po, what I did po, I asked help from my friend from
Yeah, good,
college,
yeah.
from School of Statistics.
Really?
So I asked her po to please discuss this to me in a very layman's term. Kasi po in class po very technical yung mga terms. Ganyan. So I asked them po to please translate this into something that I can understand. This is just what I know. Tsaka po maybe longer time po for preparations. Like I watch videos on YouTube, something like that po. So para po talaga ma-appreciate ka. And now po parang little by little, I'm regaining my confidence na po
I'm
in
glad.
statistics.
Oo. So you have some tutorial lessons,
Yes
and
po.
then you have extra lessons for yourself
Yes,
to remedy what you had not learned.
Opo.
Sometimes you have to go back a bit to the earlier lessons
Yes
to
po.
understand the
Yes.
next, because math is accumulative.
Prerequisites na.
Oo,
May
yes.
requisites sila.
Correct, yeah. So you see, when children are poor in math, it's not just a sense of they don't understand numbers. There are many kinds of errors in math. No, let me just point out some of this. For example, just the confusion of digits. For example, 6 for 9,
Yes.
diba? Or 61 for 16.
Yes.
Would make a great difference na. Just the hearing of the sounds, 61, you know. But when you say 16, you think it's from here to there. So people who are left-handed actually may write it in the opposite, the 16 to the 61, no? And then inability to work with grouping symbols, no? You know, the algebra, the brackets.
Yeah.
I like the brackets, all the medium.
PEMDAS.
I don't know why I like the brackets. It's so
Ako din, I
neat.
like it.
Parang it's neat. I like it, no? Misalignment of addends, as I was saying. If they are not straight, in one line, they will have difficulty now. Now, this is a problem for many schools that provide very small space for children to do addition. And they cannot finish all of them. So, squeezed letters or squeeze numbers would make them confused already. Children should need very large space to solve math problems, no? Misplacement of divisor and dividend. What is the divisor? Is it inside or outside?
Pass. Pass.
Sa labas.
Yeah, divisor is outside. Dividend is inside.
Dividend and
The
so on.
house. Because when we teach children, diba, there's a house, inside there's dividend, divisor is outside.
Yeah.
Sa bubong, the answers.
Yeah, good. Oo. Kasi when teachers should not be giving math tests by saying it.
Yeah.
It should provide the so they see the
Yeah.
numbers clearly,
Yes.
and
Correct.
sometimes you confuse the numbers, which one's first and so on. No? And then difficulty in reading graphs, charts, and maps. Yeah, you have to learn how to read those in many of my classes.
Yes.
The diagrams, and inability to copy geometric figures without distortion. Yeah, exactly. And estimating the number of elements in a set, area, volume. Lastly, inability to identify, understand, and solve problems. Understand, Jap, that you are teaching your students by using rap or music for
Yes,
them to
ma'am.
remember.
Yes
Oo,
po.
oo.
What I do po, because when I was still in practice teaching, I handled math class po. And these kids po really have struggle po in memorizing concepts, ganyan. So, for example po, in our lesson in fraction, di ba po may part, so I composed po, parang I changed the lyrics of a popular song that they really like for them to remember po the parts of the fraction.
Okay, sample nga. What is that
Sure.
fraction?
From one direction po. This is how
One
it goes
Direction.
po. What's on the top? It's always up. Numerator is up. Below the bar is another part. Denominator is down. Everywhere we can see these numbers. Everywhere we can use it. Fractions are part of a whole or a group or set that we can use in dividing the things we get. And when you write up a fraction, please don't forget the bar line or slash in between the two numbers. See that? Thank you. Yeah, but so-
Numerator, denominator,
Yes
and
po,
all
and the
this.
bar
Oo,
line.
oo, that's correct, yeah.
So po, when I ask them, oh, what's the numerator? They will understand, oh, it's above the bar. So they will just understand.
Oo, and yeah. So not just the position, but also part of the denominator.
Yes, ma'am.
Kasi in Chinese, we use the character, the son, the mother. The mother is, the son comes from the mother.
Ay, nice!
So actually, it's a common term there.
How cute,
Yeah,
I just
oo.
learned that today.
Yeah. So, how about copying geometric figures? No, let me tell you, my son is very left-handed, so he's a very right-brain hemisphere. When he was in kindergarten, the teacher says, draw a triangle, and what he drew was a pyramid. Naka three-dimensional. Draw a circle, and what he drew was a sphere. Draw a square, and what he drew was a cube. And so wrong, 0. The teacher gave him, because he was looking at everything in 3 dimension already. So I didn't, I'm such a cool, I was telling you, I'm such a cool mother, I didn't even complain. Said because you probably didn't listen to the instruction. No? But the teacher could have done better by saying that the pyramid comes from the triangle, the cube from the square, and so on. How they are related,
Correct.
diba? And that could be an example for children as well. Yeah. So in fact, there are many good practices in teaching math. There should be more increase of the following: use of manipulative materials, use of questioning, even encouraging making guesses. Estimation is very important. And to teach the approach of problem solving, approach to instruction. Every drill or even every computation should have a problem behind it. Yeah, so they would understand the application or the usefulness of it. And then to justify your answers. Why are your answers this way? Remember Piaget? He was not interested in correct answer.
Correct.
But why? Why is
Why
this
is
the...
this answer?
And then that should be given points then as well. Even if the answer is incorrect. Yeah? That would take a good teacher to really understand how the child has come to this answer. Must have some misunderstanding or certain confusion in ideas and so on. And then to teach by applying math. For example, don't just, I was observing this school, supposed to be very good school, and IB program and so on. And so they were talking about perimeter, talking about measurement, and I taught the teacher, no, why don't you ask them to bring a ruler or the measuring tape and actually measure this table? So that it makes sense for them to understand not just the terms, because they were so what do you call this? So stuck with using the PowerPoint without using the object lessons and hands-on teaching. We can measure the apples on a weighing scale rather than just talk about a kilometer, kilogram or gram without the idea of what makes 100 grams and so on and so forth, diba? So we should use manipulative equipments, gadgets, no? So have you observed some of the practices, these good practices that are done in your school?
Actually, not that. But I appreciate this one being put here, that we have to really increase it. Like, for example, me, when I've been solving like all these things from grade school all the way to college, kilometers did not make sense to me. But I just knew it's kilometer, it's times 1,000 of something.
Right.
But you know, when people ask me, so it's how many meters away, how many kilometers, I'm like, I don't know. But I actually learned it lang. I'm getting the hang of it because I'm driving now. But I think it's something, not lang my problem, but I think most of us Filipinos, no, we are not good in estimating and giving, parang, I don't know why. Maybe
you
because
would say,
we need
it's near the red building.
Yes, parang we use that, but not really distance. So, I think parang if we do increase this one, manipulative, yung application, parang it will make more sense for grade schoolers. And then all the way, and then they will carry that all the way until, you know, when they get older.
Correct, yeah. I just wonder, no, having been in UP for all my life, from all my degrees and so on, and teaching here for so long, how big is the quadrangle ba?
Academic oval, it's 2.2 kilometers.
2.2 kilometers?
Yes. I
Yeah.
think. And then Jay said, if you move pa around, parang instead of going around lang, in front of oblation, you go dun sa distance na nun, I think it will be 3 na eh. Parang if you go around that, it's going to be exactly 3
How about the
kilometers.
area?
I don't know.
What's the area of circle?
Yeah.
Pi r squared.
It's memorizing all these
But
formulas.
it's not a
Lahat
circle
ng formula.
academic oval.
Ano ba siya?
Parang it's not.
Oval.
More
It's
rectangle,
Mas
di ba?
medyo rectangular nga yung shape niya.
Alright, yeah.
1/2 B. 1/2 B over H.
The only thing we know in weigh is our weight, no? Do you know your weight?
Yeah, weight, in pounds
Is it
or
in
kilos.
pounds or
No.
kilogram?
Kilo.
Some people, they do it kilos, parang others naman pounds.
Pounds. Oo nga.
And the height pa. Yeah, because I think in the Philippines, we are still using pounds when other people are already using kilograms.
Kilograms.
Oo.
Yeah.
And then the height, we are using
Feet.
feet,
Yeah.
usually, di ba? How many feet and how many inches, while other people are doing the kilometer na, no? Meter rather. Not the,
Yeah, totoo.
Oo, the meter. So, always I have to check pa. What is the, because when other people ask, it's they're asking about meter and kilogram rather than feet and pounds, no? So we have to use more of application math, no? Applied math, rather than memorizing just the formula, no? Because teachers who are lazy would not bring the children around, and because it will take time.
Yes.
It will take that.
Guided discovery will take time. Just teaching from the textbook is easier for teachers, right? And we have to decrease some of these, no? Like drilling sheets, just drilling and drilling, rote memorization of rules and formulas, one-step problem, not multi-step. Or even this is the worst, answering yes or no for math, or fill in the blanks as questions, no? and then relying on answer key. Teachers who don't understand their own math would say, F the answer key anyway. Dependent on the answer key. That's why children should be given more time, not quickness.
Yes.
In 5 minutes, solve this ganyan. That is threatening to them. It makes them even more anxious, the more panicky, and they cannot think clearly. Yeah, given more time, I would believe that many children will improve in their math.
Yes.
Diba? So, we probably think that math is not important because we have the calculator, we have the cell phone, and these days you cannot even add 2 digits without
With a calculator.
the cell phone. Did you sometimes try mental math without being so dependent on your cell phone?
Yes.
I still do.
I still do this.
Especially when
Math
you're
thing.
computing grades, no? Or adding yung when you check papers. Parang it has to be mental. It will take longer kasi to type.
To just type.
So when you check, parang okay, 10, 15, okay, 30, 20. Parang you have to...
Yeah,
Do
so
it
we all
faster.
memorize too the multiplication table.
Yes.
Yes.
You see, it has to, some things have to be memorized already to
Yes.
make it quick. How about conversion of currency, di ba?
Ang
If you
hirap.
travel
Ang
abroad, all of
Mga app
that,
naman kung madadownload.
everything.
Kahit yung mga height and weight, di ba? Meron.
I do estimation, more or less. We don't have to look at the exact
yes.
price, di ba? For example, in dollars, and then
We
you're
know na it's
converting
around-
it to pesos,
Yes.
times 50 or
50 lang.
55, ganyan, and so on. It gives you an estimated number already. Yeah? So you think the Bible has things to say about math? We may not think that God would say anything about math, no? But if you go to the Proverbs, there are many verses about measurement and so on. Let me give you an example. Proverbs 11 verse 1. The Lord hates dishonest scales, but accurate weights are His delight. Accurate weights are His delight. You see, accuracy is less valued in the Philippines, no? We don't want accuracy, but can you imagine if the plane is not built accurately, precisely, the table and so on? Everything would fall into pieces, right? Even just measuring, even just making cover for your books, di ba, you do some measurement. I don't like those that are not symmetrical or neat, di ba? We are careful to make things neat and clean, yeah, because the Lord hates dishonest scales, but accurate weights are His delight. Okay, thank you very much for watching this episode of SunnyBrook Smart Learning. This has been Dr. Grace Koo. We'll see you again.